This is a dangerous witch hunt that will have serious consequences for trans people. Trans people simply going about their work and now being unfairly targeted and harassed for no reason other than being who they are. This is completely unacceptable. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So I have a few updates on the Marks and Spencer story, the one where a male employee approached a 14-year-old girl in the bra section asking her if she needs help. Now the mother of the 14-year-old, she has spoken out on X. She has an anonymous account. It's a Jane Doe account, obviously to protect the identity of her daughter, who is a minor. And, she's offering some clarification. So first of all, not once did she say that the employee offered to do a bra fitting or anything like that. He simply came up to the girl and asked if she needed help. But this was astounding to the young girl because she's in the bra section, in the lingerie section. And a male comes up to her asking her if she needs help. What is she supposed to think? This was her very first bra fitting.
It's not the funnest thing in the world, is it, to go and have your first bra fitting? Not that you would know, Kevin, but it's not, And so you're quite intimidated by the whole thing anyway and quite nervous about it. And the last thing you want is to actually then be faced with someone who, they didn't know that person wasn't going to follow them in and then do their bra fitting or anything else. They just we're confronted by a 6'2" male in a dress saying, "Can I help you?"
So it's a matter of it being inappropriate for this person to be approaching teenage girls, asking them if they need help in the lingerie section. He shouldn't have been in that section working and offering help to female customers because this person is male. But what has happened is that when a man identifies as a woman, people decide that it's okay for lines to be crossed, for people to venture into what is inappropriate and to disregard the feelings of girls and women and to tell them that they're wrong for being uncomfortable. None of us have been in the lingerie section and a man come up to us, a male employee, and asked us if we need help. Obviously, that has the implication that it's in reference to us shopping for bras, shopping for underwear. And what has come to light is that this person doesn't work in the lingerie section, which to me is more of a red flag, is more sinister, because why would you go over to a section that you don't work and approach a 14-year-old girl looking at bras at the time?
So this started with the story that came out about a 14-year-old girl who went bra shopping with her mother for the first time, and she realised that a staff member who came up to her and asked her for help, which, by the way, people don't really do when you're bra shopping when you're a teenager, they know to leave you alone, and it was a man's voice. So she looks around and sees that it's a man over 6'2", dressed as a woman, and he's approaching a teenage girl to ask if she would like help with picking out a bra.
I mean, not in any way intimidating or creepy at all for a young girl.
Exactly, and it turned out that this man didn't actually work in the lingerie department.
I'm sorry,
which is something, I suppose. He didn't work in the lingerie department.
Well, he just came over from fruit and veg and just thought he'd harangue a 13-year-old girl.
Well, that's right. He was on the floor, wasn't he? So he must have, like, they rode.
Have we checked his hard drive?
I'm not commenting on that, Julia.
I would like his hard drive checked.
Marks and Sparks has apologised, but they haven't responded to any of the other things that have been coming up for absolutely years. For example, that they allow everybody to identify into whichever changing rooms they want. Women have been complaining about this directly. Yeah. I have seen a letter that was written in 2017 about this, and the response was, we are inclusive. We are an inclusive retailer. I mean, this nonsense. We are excluding women who want to have a place to get changed in peace. So they've apologised on this, but they haven't actually answered questions about, do you have any male bra fitters who call themselves women? Do you allow men into your male staff into the women's changing rooms if they identify as women? And JK Rowling says it's time that we vote with our wallet.
The mother says she was looking at bras. This wasn't just somebody walking through the lingerie section. And again, we understand that men go to the lingerie section of stores. We understand that. Men who are shopping for their wives, shopping for their girlfriends. Yes. We're not saying that men aren't allowed to venture into the lingerie section or go through the lingerie section. It's not cordoned off and, you have to prove you're female. No one's saying that. But what people are failing to do is to look at it from the 14-year-old girl's perspective, from a woman's perspective, because even a grown woman would not find that acceptable. So Jane Doe on X, who is believed to be the mother of this little girl, she said, just to clarify, the lingerie section is separate from the women's clothing in Marks and Spencer in the Iris store where this happened. They're not even on the same floor. Hope this helps. And then we had someone say, I have a daughter and she's not been raised a bigot. The store assistant absolutely did not in any way, shape or form ask to fit or measure for a bra. Try harder. And that wasn't in the complaint I made. That screenshot has been taken from an unreliable source, which has rewritten events to suit their own inaccurate narrative. She said, if it helps, my daughter was literally looking at a gondola display of bras when he approached. So this is clearly, it's not a misunderstanding. She was clearly looking at bras and he approached her, asking her if she needs help. What is she supposed to think? Obviously, that implies that you're asking to help me while I'm looking at bras, while I'm deciding on a bra. And if she was to think that a bra fitting was included in that, that would not be unreasonable, since it's obvious she's looking at bras. And based on Marks and Spencer's track record, they are of the belief that trans women are women and should be treated as women. So we shouldn't think anything of it when a trans woman comes up to us in the department store while we're looking at bras, asking us if we need help. I don't think this is something that warranted being published in the Telegraph. I think you're overreacting and what you're doing is discriminatory, especially as M&S lightly contractually requires staff to check on customers. None of that overrides the recent Supreme Court decision that women and girls have a legal right to safe spaces free from the presence of men, not on shop floors, regardless of what's being sold. Men can buy lingerie for their girlfriends or wives. A lingerie underwear department is not a single gender space. Almost correct. It's not a single sex space. Most women would be delighted to find our menfolk in there, buying practical and pretty lingerie for us. But we don't want male employees making unsolicited approaches to our teenage daughters there. That's all it comes down to. Why is it so hard for people to understand that? Once again, gender ideology comes before women and girls feeling safe and being safe. Once again, gender ideology allows men to cross boundaries, allows them to venture into the inappropriate and outright venture into SA. It allows them to have access to women and girls. But now because a man supposedly identifies as a woman, he's allowed to approach teenage girls in the bra section. You know, sometimes things happen, we get this. But this is somebody who's been told that we have to treat you like a woman and you can go anywhere you want and approach any of us without question because you identify as a woman. And Jane Doe, who allegedly is the mother of this girl, also went on to clarify that she's not against trans people in general. She's not against trans people having jobs. And JK Rowling, she's called for a boycott of M&S, and I didn't even know the extent of how woke this company is. They're talking about being inclusive, we don't exclude all of this, and people can use changing rooms according to how they identify. So you can't go to M&S, try on bras or try on whatever, and be rest assured that men are not going to walk into there claiming to identify as a woman. That's very disturbing to me. That is reason alone not to shop there. I don't care if it's vegetables or bras. I am not interested in shopping there when I go to the UK. I'm willing to give up the Percy Pigs in order to not support a company that allows men into women's changing rooms based on self-identification. Absolutely not.
And what I think is really important is we just have to understand that a trans-identifying male is a subset of males and remains a subset of males. And whether that's in sports, whether that's in prisons, whether that's in bathrooms, we need to make sure that men's spaces are made safe for non-conforming males because they are still males, and that female spaces are free from any males, however they want to identify.
Maybe there's tall women, short women, curvy women, skinny women, masculine-looking women. But what there isn't is a type of woman that is male. That does not exist. So no, trans women are not a subset of women. That is not a thing. It's a subset of men. So it's very misleading to even have the word woman in that terminology. Now, one thing that's up for debate is when it comes to dress codes at a place of work. Should a man who identifies as a woman be allowed to walk around wearing a dress?
And that person has every right to wear whatever they want to wear to work. But then it should be made absolutely clear to them that they are not in a women's lingerie department, because they would not, enable a man to do that. And that's what they're enabling. They're enabling a male to go in there and intimidate young females and other females too, right? Not necessarily just 14-year-olds. A lot of older ladies go and buy their bras in Marks and Spencer's as well, and they don't want to be served by a 6'2" man dressed up in women's clothes. And that's what they are. They are males taking on the role of women, which is about clothes and makeup. And being a woman isn't just clothes and makeup.
Is that a good thing to be embraced in the workplace? Now, I have said, and I stand by what I say, I don't believe the workplace is any place for gender ideology. That doesn't mean that I think people who identify as trans should not be allowed to work. And I don't think denying anybody or any group the ability to work is helpful. But I say that everybody should stick to the dress code and dress appropriately for work.
I may be being a bit unfair, but you know me, I'm always unfair. Seriously, I think that this guy got off on it. I mean, this is getting off on it. It's a sexual thing for a big bloke to go, let me help you put that bra on. It's really uncomfortable, don't you think?
Well, we'll never know that. But the risk is that they do. And so, what I find extremely frustrating is that this man's feelings were put in front of the feeling of all the women in that lingerie department, including 14-year-old girls.
But when someone has to turn up for work on a daily basis and is faced with a man in a dress, and he makes everyone feel uncomfortable, and just by the very nature of him putting on those clothes, he makes at least some people feel uncomfortable. I think that an employer should have the right to either tell them to dress properly or lose their jobs.
Now, where does it stop? So a man walks into the bra section asking for a bra fitting. He's been on hormones. What are you supposed to say to that? If you're a woman who works in the bra section, you're female, you work in the bra section, you do bra fittings, where does it stop? That's what I would like to ask Marks and Spencer. Men who identify a certain way and want a bra fitting. Are they supposed to accommodate those men? Men who have had all sorts of surgery to look like their version of what they think a woman is. Are your female employees supposed to be inclusive? Are men allowed to fit bras? Why don't they answer that once and for all? Do you know if M&S allocate male assistants to the lingerie department? I've asked that. They didn't reply. Same as they didn't provide me with CCTV. All the details, too right. But you aren't providing any clarification when pressed on the details. Why? Straightforward answers to questions would help us establish how serious the interaction was. There were no levels of seriousness here. Simply that male staff shouldn't approach teenage girls in the lingerie department. It's not difficult. Because if trans women are women, does that not mean that they're allowed to work in the bra section, in the lingerie section? You can't have it both ways. You need to clarify. Ultimately, all these companies need to adhere to the Supreme Court ruling, need to adhere to the law, as was rightly pointed out, has always been the law. All the Supreme Court did was clarify so people can't skew and interpret the law their own way. A woman is one that is female, got nothing to do with identity. Therefore, women deserve and are entitled to their own spaces that are all female, where no man can venture. So let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Like, comment and subscribe. Take care of yourselves, and God willing, I will see you in the next video.